Life has a way of surprising us. Sometimes opportunity opens suddenly, and at other times, challenges arrive we never expected. But behind it all, Yahweh is preparing us, shaping our character, stretching our faith, and equipping us for a moment we may not yet see. Preparation is never wasted. Every trial, every delay, every lesson, Yahweh is shaping you and me for what's ahead. The door may not be open yet, but the time is coming. The question is simple. When His moment arrives, will you and I be ready to step into it? I'm Dr. Ray, and welcome to another powerful session of Hosea International Speaks. Today we dive into Genesis chapter 46 and 47, a story of movement, migration, and the unfolding of Yahweh's grand design. This is more than a relocation story. It is the turning point of history's hinge as a family becomes a nation, and as the promises given generations earlier begin to unfold in ways no human plan ever orchestrated. Chapter 46 opens with an old man, weary but faithful, setting out on a journey. He's leaving behind the land promised to his fathers, but he himself carries with him a covenant far older than himself. Yahweh meets him along the way and reassures him, "Do not be afraid to go down, for there I will make you into a great nation." Here we see the scarlet line of promise stretching across time. It began with Abraham, called out of the Ur of the Chaldees, promised descendants as numerous as the stars. It continues through Isaac, and then through Jacob, who carries the name and renamed Israel, the one who's wrestled and prevailed against Yahweh. And now the family moves into Egypt, not to die, but to multiply. This is no random migration. This is the sovereign plan of Yahweh to preserve His covenant people so that through them, the Messiah, the ultimate seed of Abraham, would one day bring salvation to all the nations of the world. The scarlet line is unbroken. Abraham to Isaac, Isaac to Jacob, Jacob to his sons, and through Judah, which we saw the last couple of weeks, which you might want to go back and look at those. The line that would one day lead to Yeshua, Jesus, the Lion of the tribe of Judah. And then in chapter 47, the family arrives in Egypt. And here's where Yahweh's design shines again. At that very moment in history, Egypt was becoming the world's center for survival. Famine has struck, and grain became the currency for life. Horses, cattle, you name it, donkeys, land, everything itself would all be exchanged for bread. And who does Egypt suddenly need? Or what does Egypt suddenly need? They need herdsmen, men skilled in tending flocks and livestock. This is exactly what Joseph's family had been prepared to do their entire lives. What Egypt despised, shepherds, was precisely what Egypt needed in its hour of desperation. Do you see it? Yahweh's hand was guiding both the famine and the family. The skills of this small clan were the very key Egypt required to manage the influx of animals being bartered for grain. And in protecting Egypt's economy, Joseph was also protecting the covenant family, giving them Goshen, a fertile land where they would grow into a nation. This is the beauty of Yahweh's providence. The famine or the terror of famine becomes the stage for divine preservation. What looks like displacement is actually positioning. The rejection of shepherds by Egypt becomes their protection, keeping Israel distinct, unassimilated, and set apart. And through it all, the scarlet line continues unbroken. Every moment, every hardship, every shift of nations is bent toward one unstoppable purpose, the coming of the Messiah. Through this preserved people, Yeshua would come, the true bread of life, the one greater than Joseph, who would not just provide grain for a famine, but eternal life for all who believe. Now, let's see how this applies to you and I. Let's bring this forward into our own lives. What if the places we fear moving into are actually the places Yahweh intends to multiply us? What if the very skills, callings we think the world despises are the ones He will use at just the right time? What if our seasons of famine and displacement are really divine setups for preservation and growth? When Yahweh's hand is at work, nothing, I say nothing is wasted. Not even a famine, not a rejection, not even the shame of being called a shepherd in a foreign land. The story of Genesis 46 and 47 tells us Yahweh's plan will not fail. His covenant will not be broken. And the scarlet line of salvation runs straight through the lives of ordinary people who trust Him. As this family settles in Egypt, we see both protection and prophecy at work. Protection because Yahweh has provided refuge in Goshen. Are you in your land of Goshen at this moment? Prophecy because Israel's time in Egypt would eventually set the stage for deliverance and redemption on a grand scale. The scarlet line remains unbroken. Abraham to Messiah, promised to fulfillment. And if Yahweh could weave famine, fear, and foreign lands into His saving design back then, He can certainly weave your story into His purpose today. Well, I want to thank you for joining me today. And if this message encourages you in any way, share it with somebody who needs it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and you can reach out to me anytime at Hosea International@yahoo.com or HoseaINTspeaks@gmail.com. And you can also give by scanning one of the 2 QR codes on your screen. Until then, walk with courage, hold fast to Yahweh's promises, and remember, the scarlet line of salvation is still moving forward. I'm Dr. Ray, and I'll see you next week on Hosea International Speaks.